Okay, we're going to look at some work today on sketching a completed square. So we've looked before in our factorising work, putting algebraic expressions back into brackets. We've looked at completing the square, but now we're going to look at sketching what that would look like. Okay, so let's start with equation 1, which is going to be write the following. Expression in the form y equals x plus a all squared plus b, and then make a sketch marking the turning point of the curve the y-intercept. So remember that the y-intercept is where you cut the y-axis, and the shape of the curve. Now the shape of the curve just means is it U-shaped or upside down U-shaped, and we sometimes call that concave down or concave up, but we'll come on to that. Okay, now typically if you're asked to do a question like this, it would be worth 5 marks. So let's get started with it. Now the start of it is to do some work that we've looked at already, which is to complete the square. Okay, so we've got y equals x squared plus ax plus 11. So the first thing we're going to do here is complete the square. Now completing the square, as I said, is something that we've looked at before. So we're going to half the 8 down to a 4. And that will be x plus 4 all squared. 4 squared is 16, and we need to eliminate that, but we still need to include the plus 11. So that will be y equals x plus 4 all squared minus 5. Okay, now that's previously learned work. Now this is now new work. Well, we need to do 3 things. We need to mark the turning point of the curve, we need to find the y-intercept, and we need to establish the shape of the curve. Now the first thing that we're going to establish is the shape of the curve. Now you can see that I'm circling this x squared here. That's a positive x squared. Now a positive x squared means that the shape is concave down. Okay. So if you've got a minus x squared, that means the parabola is concave up, but we don't have that. We've got a positive x squared, as you can see, it just says x squared, so that's a plus. So that means the parabola is concave down. Okay, the next thing that we look to do is to establish the turning point. Now that's really easy to get. So the x coordinate of the turning point, so you go to the number in the bracket, the square bracket, you change its sign, and that will give you the x coordinate of the turning point. You then go to the number outside the bracket, you don't change its sign, you don't do anything with it, and that will be the y coordinate of the turning point. So it's a really easy rule to follow. The number that's inside the square bracket, you take it down and you change its sign, and that will give you the x coordinate of the turning point. The number outside the bracket, well, you just take that straight down, and that is the y coordinate of the turning point. So now what we've got is the y coordinate of the turning point, or rather the x and the y coordinate of the turning point. Look at the full thing, and that is minus 4, minus 5. So we're through 2 things. We've got the shape of the curve. It's a concave down curve. We've got the turning point. Now we need to find this thing, which is the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is where the thing hits the y-axis. Now, if you think about the y-axis, what is always true on the y-axis is that x is equal to 0, the x-coordinate is equal to 0. So what we know for definite then is that when we hit the y-axis, the x-coordinate is equal to 0. So let's take a note of that. At the y-axis, x equals 0, and that's always true, and that's a vital piece of information. So, where in the y-axis are we? Well, we can establish that by knowing that x is equal to 0, because we then take that x equals 0 and we can sub it into y. Okay, so there's my equation for y, and I'm going to sub in x equals 0. So it'll be y equals, well, where I see x, I replace it with 0. So that's y equals 0 squared plus 8 lots of 0 plus 11. So that's 0 plus 0 plus 11, which is 11. Okay, so that means that I do cut the y-axis at 11. So I'm just going to mark that I cut the y-axis at 11. Now I've got all the information now that I need. I know that the shape is concave down, it's a concave down parabola, and I know that the turn point is -4, -5. Okay, so there's 11, -4, -5, so if I'll move on to -4 down to -5, that might be about there. Let's mark in that point. And I also know that the shape is concave down. So I can now sketch what that would look like. So I'm just going to take my time, and it would look a bit like that. Now the vital three things that I've shown there is that it's concave down, I've marked the turning point, and I've marked where I cut the y-axis. Now let's just go over again from the completed square how I did that. So change the sign of this number to get the x-coordinate, put this number straight down to get the y-coordinate, that is my turning point. I've got a positive x squared, which tells me that the shape is concave down. Next thing that I do is check the y-intercept, and at the y-axis I know that x is equal to 0, so I can now go up to y and put x equals 0 in, and that gives me with 0 squared plus 8 lots of 0 plus 11, which is 11, which tells me that I mark at 11. Final thing is to sketch the thing out, and let's try a few more examples of this type. Okay, example B. So we're going to complete the square and sketch, marking the turning point, the shape of the curve, and the y-intercept. Okay, so remember that's where it cuts the y-axis. Okay, this time we've got y equals x squared plus 6x plus 17. Okay, so let's first of all complete the square. So that's going to be, well, half the 6 down to a 3, create a square bracket, x plus 3 all squared. 3 squared is 9, and I need to get rid of it and still add on 17. And that will be x plus 3 all squared plus 8. Okay, I can now gather the information to make a sketch. Now I can see that I've got a positive x squared, and since it's a positive x squared, that will be concave down. I can now get my turning point, so change the sign of that, and don't change the sign of that. That'll give me a turn point, which is -3,8. I can now find where I cut the y-axis. So how do I find where I cut the y-axis? Well, I make x equal to 0. So let's do that. So where I see x, replace it with 0, so it's going to be 0 squared plus 6 lots of 0 plus 17, which will give me 0 plus 17 is 17. Now, one point to note is, what if I checked in here? Well, you would see that I would get the same result of 17, because that's also an equation for y, so let's try it in there, see what happens. Where I see x, I'm going to replace it with 0. Okay, so that would be 0 plus 3 all squared plus 8. Okay, so 0 plus 3 is 3, 3 squared is 9, and then 9 plus 8, as expected, it gives me the same result, which is 17. So to find out what y is, you can sub x equals 0 into this version of the equation or the factorised version. It doesn't matter, you'll get the same result of 17. Okay, so I've got the shape of the curve, which is concave down, I've got the turning point, and I've got where I cut the y-axis, and I can now sketch the thing out. Okay, so the turning point is minus 3, 8, so along to minus 3 up to 8, that might be round about there, mark that in. I know that I cut up at 17, that might be about there, and I know it's concave down. Take your time, and here's your sketch. It's got the 3 important features listed. It's got the shape of the curve, concave down, it's got the turning point, and it's got where I cut the y-axis. Okay, let's try an example C. So we're going to write y equals x squared minus 6x plus 19 in the form y equals x minus b all squared plus c, and make a sketch. Okay, so why if we get b's and c's involved? Well, I suppose that's just to show that it doesn't matter. These are just letters to represent two numbers that we're going to find. You'll notice this time that it doesn't say complete the square, it says this instead, but that means to complete the square, so it's just a variety in how the question is presented to you. So let's go with it. So x squared minus 6x plus 19. Okay, so we're going to half the minus 6 down to a minus 3 and create a square bracket. Okay, so 3 squared is 9, and we would eliminate it. Well, minus 3 squared is also 9, so we still eliminate it, and we still need to include 19. Okay, so then take your time, minus 9 plus 19 would be plus 10. So the completed square then is y equals x minus 3 all squared plus 10. Okay, it's a positive x squared. Positive x squared means that the thing is concave down. I can now get the turning point by changing the sign of that and not changing the sign of that to get the turning point of 310. And I'm now going to find the y-intercept by checking when x is equal to 0. Okay, so I can sub x equals 0 into the equation here, or I can do it here. It doesn't matter, it will give me the same result. So just one more time, I'm going to show you that in both scenarios you will get the same result when you sub in x equals 0. So y equals 0 squared minus 6 lots of 0 plus 19 will give me 19. And if I do it in here, y equals 0 minus 3 all squared plus 10. And 0 minus 3 is minus 3. Minus 3 squared is 9. 9 plus 10 is 19. It gives you the same result. So you don't need to do the thing twice. Either sub it in here or sub it in here, and just be comfortable that you can do both. Okay, so I've got all the information that I need. I've got the turning point, I've got the shape of the curve, and I've cut the y-axis, and I can now make a sketch of the curve. Okay, so turn point is at 310, so along to 3 up to 10, that might be about there. cut the y-axis up at 19, which might be about there, and it's concave down, take your time, and there we go. Okay, let's try an example D. We're going to write in the form x plus q all squared plus r, and sketch y equals x squared plus 10x minus 31. Okay, so half the 10 down to a 5, create a squared bracket, x plus 5 all squared. 5 squared is 25, get rid of it, and I still need to include the minus 31. Okay, take your time. So we'll get minus 25 minus 31 will be minus 56. Okay, so we've got a positive x squared, so it's going to be a concave down parabola. We've got the turning point, which is going to be change sign of 5 to get minus 5, don't change sign of minus 56 to get minus 56, turn point of minus 5 minus 56. We're now going to check the y-axis, and it's always true again, the y-axis, and that's that x is equal to 0. So now we can sub x equals 0 in here or in here, it doesn't matter. So let's throw it into here, y equals 0 squared plus 10 lots of 0 minus 31. 0 plus 0 minus 31 is minus 31. I can now make the sketch. So minus 5 minus 56, you don't have to measure that out exactly, that'll be quite difficult, but you just need to be quite reasonable. So along to minus 5 down to minus 56. Okay, so that might be a bit there. We're cutting the y-axis at minus 31, so let's mark that there. Concave down, take your time. And there we go. Okay, let's try an example A. So we're going to complete the square and sketch y equals x squared minus 12x minus 7. Okay, first thing, it's a positive x squared, as we can see, concave down, that's easy. Okay, next move, complete the square. We're going to halve the minus 12 down to minus 6 and create a square bracket. So minus 6 squared is 36, and we need to get rid of it. Okay, so just go over that again. 6 squared is 36, but minus 6 squared, well, that's minus 6 times minus 6, that's also 36, which we need to get rid of, we need to eliminate, we need to take it away. And we still need to include the minus 7 at the end. Now take your time, you're down at minus 36, you move down 7, brings you down to minus 43. X minus 6 all squared minus 43. Let's get this turning point, change the sign of that to get the x coordinate at the turning point, leave that one alone to get the y coordinate at the turning point. The turning point then is 6 minus 43. Okay, we're now going to check the y-axis, what's always true in the y-axis, and that is x equals 0. Remember that I can sub that into here, or I can sub it into here, it doesn't matter, so this time I'm going to throw it into here. So y equals, where I see x, I'll replace it with 0. 0 minus 6 all squared minus 43. Okay, so 0 minus 6 is minus 6. Minus 6 squared is 36. And then it's 36 take away 43, take your time, and that will give you minus 7. Okay, we're now in a position to sketch the thing out. Okay, so the turn point is at 6 minus 43, so along with 6 down to minus 43, might be about there, don't need to measure it out, just be reasonable. I hit the y-axis at minus 7, which might be about there, and it's concave down